JJK Modulo Chapter 17 finally arrives, but its impact is shaped as much by timing as by what unfolds on the page. After a confusing break week that left fans second-guessing release dates, it's clarified that Weekly Shonen Jump paused for the holidays, which is why Chapter 17 only officially dropped now. Unfortunately, the wait isn't over. Another break immediately follows, meaning Chapter 18 won't arrive until January 18th. Spoilers might surface early like they did for this chapter, but officially, the story is frozen in this moment for a while, and what a moment it is. Chapter 17 opens not with chaos, but with memory. We're taken into a flashback centered on Sudugi as a child, quietly investigating the mystery of his father. His father, Uta Imaki's son, vanished shortly after Yuka was born, and for reasons no one around him ever seemed willing to explain. Sudugi narrates how neither his grandparents nor his mother would speak about the man, which only deepened his obsession. Desperate for answers, he secretly approached prominent members of the Gojo clan, piecing together a version of his father from whispers and half-truths. What he learns is unexpected. His father wasn't reckless or cruel. He was serious, diligent, and deeply burdened. People said he resembled his own father, Uta, in both discipline and mindset. But that same diligence may have destroyed him. According to those who knew him, Sudugi's father agonized over how weak the current and upcoming generations of jujutsu sorcerers were compared to his parents' era. That despair hollowed him out. Shortly before disappearing, a maid reportedly saw him confronting a hooded man with a scarred face. The context is unknown, but the encounter clearly mattered. Whatever was said that day lingered like a curse. Sudugi's thoughts spiral further. Why did his father disappear after Yuka's birth, but not after his own? He comes to believe the answer lies in cursed techniques. Whether Yuka and Sudugi possess them seems central to his father's final decision. Somehow his father believed his role was finished once Yuka was born. That realization cuts deep. Sudugi wonders if Yuka would have never existed had he possessed a cursed technique himself. Or if his father might have stayed had Yuka been born without one. These questions haunt him, and although he once resolved to keep the truth from Yuka, he knows she's too perceptive to remain in the dark forever. That reflection snaps violently back to the present, where Sudugi is locked in combat with Maru. The fight has escalated to its breaking point. Maru fully commits to his cursed technique, chaos and harmony, and the battlefield becomes unrecognizable. Gravity twists, orientation collapses. The world itself feels like it's being folded and flipped. Buildings rotate, perspectives shatter, and Sudugi is left clinging awkwardly to the side of a structure, completely disoriented. He admits internally that he still doesn't understand Maru's technique at all. Maru presses the advantage relentlessly. He lunges forward, sword in hand, as the environment spins again, evoking an almost Inception-like visual where reality refuses to stay upright. Sudugi is forced entirely onto the defensive, barely keeping up as the world turns against him. Page after page is consumed by raw motion and impact, with minimal dialogue, letting the choreography speak for itself. Eventually, their blades collide in a decisive clash. Sudugi's sword slips perfectly between the forked shape of Cross's blade, which Maru is wielding. For a split second, both weapons lock, and then both fighters are disarmed as the blades are flung away. The next panel pulls back to show the building they're fighting in, its glass erupting outward in a violent explosion. When the focus returns, Maru is already there. He stands directly in front of Sudugi, hand extended toward his heart. Sudugi hangs upside down in midair, helpless. Maru calmly declares, "I win." Even now, Sudugi refuses to yield. He says that if there's even a 1% chance he can save Yuka, he'll go all in. Maru accepts that resolve without mockery. He clenches his fist and drives an explosive punch straight into Sudugi's chest, launching him through a nearby building and shattering windows as his body is sent flying. Maru doesn't stop. Without hesitation, he begins lifting buses, trucks, and cars into the air behind him, turning the city itself into ammunition. He hurls them all towards Sudugi's impact site, bombarding the area with overwhelming force. The explosion that follows is massive, swallowing the battlefield. Yet even as Maru stands there, he's visibly conflicted. He knows what he's doing is necessary, but it clearly eats away at him. In the aftermath, we see Sudugi buried among rubble. Trucks, concrete, and debris surround his broken body. Bloodied and battered, he reflects on Yuka once more. She was born with something incredible, something special. Maybe, he thinks, she'd even be proud of an equally incredible death. But he can't accept that. He doesn't need to stand beside her. He doesn't even need to speak to her. As long as he knows she's alive somewhere in the world, living her life, that's enough. With that thought, Sudugi whispers, "Grandpa." From the shadows, Ra begins to emerge. The ring on Sudugi's chest glows ominously as Ra's presence manifests. She remarks bitterly that he ended up looking like her instead, but she'll save him because Uta asked her to. She demands that Sudugi accept the contract. Sudugi asks a single question. Can he win? Ra scoffs, calling it a foolish question. The panel goes completely black as Sudugi answers, "I accept." The shift is immediate and terrifying. Maru watches in shock as something unfamiliar rises before him. He senses cursed energy, but it isn't Sudugi's. Panic flashes across his face as he demands to know who this entity is. What stands before him is Sudugi, now fused with Ra. Before Maru can even react, Sudugi is already there. A single panel shows Sudugi's fist inches from Maru's face before the blow sends him crashing into another building. It's payback for the earlier strike. Maru survives, arms crossed defensively, suggesting he managed to block the worst of it. But now, both fighters are fully locked in. The power balance has shifted completely. The chapter closes on a sharp tonal pivot as Sudugi and Ra bicker mid-battle. Sudugi tells her not to say whatever she wants, and Ra snaps back with sarcastic threats of tattling to Uta in heaven. Sudugi fires back, questioning whether she'd even be allowed in. Ra fumes, and the chapter ends right there, cutting tension with humor while promising absolute insanity going forward. Chapter 17 is pure spectacle. The first half is dominated by fluid, dialogue-light action, emphasizing paneling, motion, and scale. The second half detonates emotionally with lore reveals, character motivation, and a shocking fusion that redefines the fight. With Chapter 18 still weeks away, this cliffhanger is going to linger, and Sudugi's fusion with Ra feels like the beginning of something dangerous, unpredictable, and unforgettable.